Now then, how are we all doing? Welcome back to Pommyinoz. So if you are new around here, please drop a like, please drop a sub. Really helps the channel out. We're smashed through the 1600 barrier, well on the way to 1700. But first of all, let's give a shout out to the Pomminozers. We've got Byron Issa, Tim P, Alexander Larder, Peter Hayward, Lana Owens, Greg Whitaker, and the big fella, Azza James. They are members. If you do want to do the membership thing, there is no obligation. Just please follow the link below. We've also got here, look, Sammy Walsh. I've started a little business doing prints. We've got a limited edition print there. So if you are interested in that, please let me know. It is on the website. And we are going to be doing a giveaway. So if you drop a comment this on the 1st of November, I will pick a comment and you will win that A4 print. So that's any comment on any videos from now. So I will do a random select and we'll do that on one of the watch-alongs and you can win that baby there. But if you do want anything else, make sure you do check out Pommyinoz, pommysportsalmanac.com.au for all your printing needs. We've got that through. Fuck, that intro was hard work, wasn't it? And what we are doing today is we're going to do a little bit of something different. We're going to do a bit of a depth chart. We've got the draft coming up. We know that if you follow Blue Abroad, I will be going into that in fine-tooth comb territory. But what we've done is we've played around. We're trying to create a depth chart. You see it in the American sports. They do a depth chart of all their positions, rah-de-rah-de-rah. What we've done is over the last 2 years, we've taken these players' statistics. We've looked at it. We've measured it against strength of opposition, etc., etc. We've looked at their VFL form as well to try and analyse that, see if we can create a correlation. And let's have a look at what we do need. So straight away, we've got the tall guys down the back, the big defenders. And no surprise, we've got Jacob Wheater leading our way in the ratings there. Got Liam Jones second, Lewis Young third, and Oscar McDonald there. Now, what I've done is I've tried to take players who have actually natively played that. You could make an argument that someone like Caleb Marchbank could play there and stuff like that because he has been trained there. We know Teague wanted him to be a key defender. But at the moment, we're going to go with that. That's the four. I think that's fairly fair. And I think we've got real great depth in that position. I think 4 tall guys with Lewis Young as well can play that third tall as well. We know Oscar McDonald can roam around as well, playing a bit forward. I think that's really good depth. For me, I look at that and I think, you know what? It's probably solid. It's probably mustard at the moment. You could maybe make an argument for someone like Rep Bazo in the draft coming up. He slots into there. He can also be a bit like Lewis Young, play elsewhere. But I think for now, priorities lie. That's pretty grouse. Then we got the smaller dudes. And it might surprise you, Adam Saad is actually number 1 on that. There is 0.3 separating them. Obviously, Doc's injuries of late have curtailed that in the back end of last year when he was out. And it's a shame because obviously he's top 2. So let's hope, Doc, we're sending all our love from Pommyinoz, and I'm sure everyone else backs me in with that. Then we got Nick Newman, Zach Williams, controversial one because he is meant to be a midfielder. 5th, Liam Stocker, Tom Williamson, and Jordan Boyd, who we haven't seen yet, languishing at the bottom. Interesting because Stocker's really got some really good key stats. If you actually look at him, he's really good one-on-one, strength of opposition as well. He's done really well against the better teams. Tom Williamson's kind of plateaued a little bit, which is kind of knocks him because obviously the way we've graded it is if they start to show steady bits of improvement, they get a bit of a spurt. But I really rate that. I think, you know, with the general defenders, because also there's probably about 20 blokes around the ground who can play this position. I think when you've got 2 players, let's just say Adam Saad and Nick Newman, let's not conjecture about Sam Doherty, but they are very solid. And then when you've seen that you've got Stocker, Williams, my one thing when I look at this, though, is I do think some of these are mids. Do you know what I mean? Like there's rumours that Doc was going to go onto the wing. Williams is bought as a midfielder. Stocker is a natural midfielder. There may be an area here that you may think in the draft this year, can we get someone that can slot across that half-back line as well? So someone like Josh Gota, who's spent a lot of his football half-back on the ball as well, maybe a thing there where Carlton think, look, this is our method, half-back, back pocket, the breeding ground of midfielders to say, is that what we're going to do? You just don't know. But I do think for now, when you think that the best 6 there are very good footballers, also the fact that we do play a third kind of lockdown role, which leads me on to this, is good. So the third defender, we've got Lockie Plowman leading the way, Brodie Kemp, Caleb Marchbank and Luke Parks. Marchbank, obviously, you would say would be 1 or 2 here, should he be fit. Obviously, no football for 2 years has really killed his gradings. We don't have any of that tennis where we protect it type things. We've just done this based on that. Luke Parks, though, showed enough for me. He's really going up the rankings. I think the third here. So what you're getting out of it, like for me personally, I would play 3 of the guys that in the last column, and then 1 of these guys and 2 keys. But mix them. It's mixed. You'd say Lockie Plowman here, number 1. I know he divides you all. It is quite funny. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy the conversation about Lockie Plowman. We know I've got a love-hate relationship with Locks, but I think for me, I want to see us do this next year, and Brodie Kemp's number 1 there. I really do. And I think he's got great potential because I think he brings you that security that Plowman does, but his ability with the ball is really poignant. So I really like this. And if Caleb Marchbank can get firing, this position here could actually be our strongest. If you've got Plowman, Marchbank and Kemp fighting for that third position, we know how important it is when you look at Jake Lever at Melbourne. It is the niche. It is real important now. Tom Stewart, another one as well. Real important, that third type defender. And I think this could be a real strong position, just given a little bit of luck with Caleb Marchbank. Then we go to the mids. There is a plethora of them here. And one thing you'll notice is 90% of these guys are inside mids. So you've got Walsh leading the way, Cripps 2, interest in the new boys, 3rd and 4th, based on their last 2 years. Ed Kerno and Matt Kennedy, there's another mix. You've got Cunners as well, who is the first outsider really in that one. Jackie Nooms, Paddy Dow, Will Setterfield, Lockie O'Brien, Matt Cottrell, Sam Philp and Jack Carroll. 14 and 13 are really unknowns, but 14 for me could be top 8 of this based on his junior football. He's a real talent. You've got to start judging him as if he's been drafted this year, because he would have been, I reckon, top 10 this year. Would have been close to. He would definitely be top 20, I feel. Matt Cottrell, meh. Lockie O'Brien. Now, these are the roles here. I need a 12, 11, 7, 11, 12 really need to nail one of them wing positions. I don't know which one it is. It's got to be. I know Adam Cherry can fling on there, but I think Cherry's going to be more of the on-baller. We know he has spent a bit of time on the wing and out wide. For me personally, though, I need one of these two to get there so we can have a rotation on the other wing. Because then you could have a wonderful situation where you've got Walsh, Hewitt, Chera rotating off one wing with Zach Williams and another halfback flanker, and then one who's really cemented it. I'm looking at number 11 here, Lockie O'Brien. Really want him to improve. Willie, I don't know. He's on a year deal, so that's a great methodology for him, because we saw with Kennedy, who, as you can see there, top 6, real underrated, and I think he will now usurp Ed Kerno. I think Voss will go with that youth because he is a bit younger as his next enforcer, because that enforcer there of Cripps, Kennedy, Hewitt is real strong. It's not the quickest, but it's real strong. And you look at how other teams do it, they can subsidise that with the pace of Chera, Walsh and Cunners. And if Cunners gets firing, I really do think that you will see this time next year the top 6 being Walsh, Cripps, Chera, Hewitt, Cunners and another. And we're looking at number 9 there. We really need him to blow out, because you'd say 9 and 11, this is the most important year, along with 7. I'd say they are make or break years. The rest, I'm not really worried about below number 6. Then we've got the rucks, it should say. It says tall forwards. My apologies. But Mark Pitnett leads the way. Might surprise some, but you actually look at his numbers. His hit-out numbers are phenomenal. His hit-out to advantage is where the issue is. Now, I don't blame him. You look at his hit-outs to advantage. I went through the first 4 rounds where he really had some strong numbers. They're in the hot zone for a midfielder. It's our midfield structure around that was woeful. Now, you could accredit that to partly his new system. You could say that there's no system. Who knows? But let's not get into that. Let's get into, at the moment, Paynet is. Murkoff is an unknown. Remember, he's only played a handful of VFL games in his career. He's our developing ruckman. TDK and Pitternet really need to have a shootout this year for this #1 spot. I do feel that Pitternet will lead the way straight up because he is strong, and I think he deserves a chance, particularly in pre-season there. Now, what Voss will do, I don't know. Personally, I know some people don't like it. I see TDK more as a forward ruck. And I think if you look at the top teams at the moment, Port utilise it, Doggies utilise it, Melbourne utilise it, St Kilda utilise it, Brisbane utilise it as well. Having a dual-type player to relief hit. And I think that suits Pitternet's game because both of these have got a real strong habit of going forward and taking important marks, particularly TDK. And I like that. I do think that is a way that you can play this. And I think because they're both contrasting ruckmen, it makes it real hard because we know ruck now is a rhythmical league. If you look at these ruckmen who get into some form, it's a rhythm. It's a rhythm. If you can break the rhythm by having some burly guy, some gazelle type character, it's real tough to get a read on your hit outs. So they're the three there. That's the order. Then the actual tall forwards, no doubt Harry is leading the tree at the moment. Charlie Curnow just below him and Mitch McGovern. Interesting because 2 and 3, there isn't much between them in the last 2 years because we know Curnow has been quite injured. But Charlie, his movement, his patterns and the space he creates in behind and also the little work he does, for me, just puts him #2. And I think this is a really interesting one because if, say, TDK starts firing, suddenly you don't need 3. And suddenly the third there could be anyone because Jesus is tall enough to play that. You can play that role there. So it's an interesting one. This is a real big year for Mitch because Mitch is also, there is talk about him going down back. Now, he has done that very limited, remember, for Adelaide. Very limited. People overstate it. You're talking 4 games. It was the back end of that year. And he did well against North. Let that sink in. One team. He does have the ability, though. Aerially is good. Now, to me, though, I think Mitch McGovern's strength is his goal kicking. His set shot routine is very lit, very precise, and he does do well. Whether Voss can get 3 to work, we don't know. But I do think that even if you do get 3 to work, paying the amount of money for a guy that is third fiddle to Charlie and Harry, because we know Charlie's on a fair wage, you'd assume Harry's on a fair wage as well. He is the Coleman medalist. Do you want to be paying 3 lots of 700 for a 2-man job? Probably not. Then we've got the others, the forwards, the gens, and it might surprise people, but Jesus, with his tackle pressure, his ability to hit inside 50 as well. Remember, in 2019, he was our leading inside 50 to marks and goal-scoring opportunities. He's a gun on the outside. And Jack Silvani could probably slot into a few of the other positions as well. Jackie Martin, #2, leading the way, surprisingly. Matty Owis, our leading tackles inside 50, the only one at Carlton to average more than 1 a game inside 50. That is the huge one this year. We know David Teague this time last year was talking about that was their primary focus. We finished 17th in the tackle inside 50 count. If you go through our top 10 as well, almost half of them are midfielders as well, actual natural midfielders. It is a worry. 2 of them have retired as well, or not on the books. This is an area that Carlton will really need to focus on. And I want to draw your attention to #7 and #6. 2 guys that do have high tackle numbers in junior football and our pressure. We saw it towards the end of last year as well, how they work together. You see that VFL. So I'm not too worried about this, although at the moment it looks threadbare. Lockie Fogarty is another player that people may look at as well. And Zach Fischer has to really improve. I think he's another person who falls into the Darwin O'Brien. This is a make or break year for him. And I'm really expecting big things. He needs to be in that top 3 category this year. Or you're going to start asking questions. Do you just pursue with Honey, Durden, Owis, Martin, Jesus, Fogarty, and get the next young kid in? Get the next young kid in. Because this is a position here that has the highest success rate from picks 20 to 40. That's the list. Let me know what you think. Who do you see as it? That's just from an analytical bit of bit of fun there. Don't take it too seriously. Take it really serious. But have some fun with it. I'll see you next time. Much love. Pom out.